What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, it's that time of the week again where we get you ready for the weekend with a brand new Coil build. So real quick, before we get started with the video, I made a Facebook group called the Daily Vape TV Cloud Crew, so make sure you guys join it. The link is right down there in the description below. So the build we're going to be doing today is called the Hell Coil. Yes, that's right. This one was a suggestion from my buddy Mike, aka Mike's Mex Reviews. He's a UK-based vape reviewer, and he's also a co-host on the super awesome Vape Show, so big shout out to you, Mike, for suggesting this one to me. And I'll leave a link right down there in the description below if you want to check out his channel. He's a relatively new reviewer, but he's very mech-centric if you want to check him out. Anyways, this one is a fairly simple build. It's basically 28 gauge, twisted, then twisted together with another strand of twisted 28 gauge, and then paralleled with a strand of Clapton wire. So should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead, and without further ado, let's grab our mod, our wick, our addy, our wire, our tools, our juice, all that good stuff. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. Alright guys, so here is everything we need for today's build all laid out. I'm going to be using some of this stuff right here. This is 28 gauge Canthal from Lightning Vapes. And the first step with this one here is just get about a 2-foot section of wire out and straighten it out. So it only takes a couple of seconds to straighten out 28 gauge, which makes my life a lot easier. So now what we're going to do is just take the other end of that wire and then reinsert it back into the chuck of the drill. And then we're going to spin it up one more time here. Make some twisted wire. Let's just tighten that chuck down really good. Just like that. Then usually I'll just kind of hook my pliers in there and let her rip. So you don't have to go super duper tight with this one here. You just want to make sure the next strand of wire you make is going to be equal to this one here. So just be careful with it. And if you have to, go in stages and just kind of check your wire against each other. But yeah, this one should be taken a little bit slower. So now that you have your 2 strands of twisted wire, next thing you're going to do is just put them in this chuck of the drill at the same time. And you want to make sure they stay nice and parallel for this step, just because you don't want any random twists in the wire or anything like that. It's just going to make it look really, really sloppy. So if you want to keep your coils looking really nice and, you know, professionally made, you just want to make sure you take a little bit more time with this step here. And just be a little bit more cautious when you go to twist them up. All right, so I'm just going to lock them off at the other end with my pliers. We have them nice and paralleled all the way down. They're nice and even. So next thing you're going to do is twist them in the opposite direction that you did originally. So here is the end result of our chain link coil. As you can see, it came out pretty darn good. I gotta say, for my first shot at this, I think it came out pretty decent. But with that, you really gotta go slow with this one and pay very close attention to those twists, just because you want it to look right. This is supposed to look like a chain, and I think we got pretty darn close with this one. And yeah, the next step is making up some coils. So in an effort to save a little bit of time for this video, I'm gonna be using this Coilology pre-made Clapton wire, and that's just because I really don't want to go on and on about how to make Clapton wire when I'm sure you guys have seen it a million times before. So with that, we're going to be doing, I think, about, I want to say 6 wraps, I think, with this stuff here. I think that would do it just fine. So I'm going to get about a foot of this stuff out, and then we'll make up some coils. So about right here. This is 24 and 36 gauge Nichrome 80 that we're using with this pre-made stuff here, but feel free to use pretty much anything. I mean, honestly, depends on what it's going on. If it was going on a Mic mod, then I would say maybe 22 for the core, or a couple fewer wraps or something. But yeah, this one, I want to have somewhat of a flavor build, so I think I'm going to go for a slightly higher resistance than you know, I was anticipating, I guess. But yeah, we have our wire all set here. Let's go ahead and get our jig out, and we're going to do, I think we'll do 6 wraps with this Clapton wire here. All right, so the next step is we're going to be putting this wire in between this coil. So the way I usually do that is just by gripping onto the wire on the edge of the jig and then forcing it in between the pre-existing coil. So this one might be a little bit trickier just because this wire is very, very angular. I don't know what to call it really, but it's kind of a funky shape and it really doesn't want to form up what I want it to form. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You really got to put a lot of pressure on the actual wire itself while you're wrapping it. But if you stick with it, it will eventually just push that other wire out of the way, and then you can fit it right in between without a lot of hassle. So there we go. That's one coil done. Let's go ahead and do it for the other one. All right, guys, so here are the hell coils that we just made up. Let's go ahead and install them. And today we're going to be building on the Elite V2. This is by Armageddon Manufacturing. And I mean, come on, what better coil to put in a badass looking RDA than something called the hell coil? So first thing I'm going to do is just even up this little lead here because that's going to bug me. And then this one here, because it's going to bug me. It's hard to get this on camera. This leg needs to go in first. There we go. That leg's in. Once that leg's in, makes the whole rest of the process a lot easier. Oh, so close. There we go. There we go. And we're in. All right. So that wasn't too bad. Ah, oh, damn it. Never mind. Spoke too soon. Didn't get one little piece of wire in there. All right, take two. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's good. All right, so that one's in there. So I'm going to try to just manipulate this as best as I can without really doing much of anything right now because it's going to make my life a lot easier in the long run. So that is looking pretty good there. Let's go ahead and try to get this one. This is going to be tricky. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do is just loosen these all the way because then it'll give me a little bit more room, and this is a lot of freaking wire going through these terminals here. All right. As you can see, we're slowly but surely making some progress here. It's tough because it's twisted wire going against another piece of twisted wire, and it really wants to fight back. Oh, I think we got it, guys. I think we got it. Oof. And, you know, sometimes I pay so much attention to the damn coils, I forget that I'm trying to record this. So I do apologize if I go off screen at all. But I think we are good. Let's just go ahead and go backwards here and maneuver this other coil before we lock them into place. And then I think we'll be good to fire these things up.
One eternity later.
All right, guys. So after about an hour of messing with these coils, just getting them right where I wanted them to be, I think we're ready to go and we're ready to fire these things up. So let's get that done. So let's see, it's hitting right now at 0.1 ohms. I'm hoping that goes up a little tiny bit because, I don't know, I kind of want this a little bit more of a flavor coil. So, I mean, not saying you can't get flavor off of a 0.1 build, but, you know, I feel like the little bit less heat might do it better. Well, now it's reading 0.09, so that's not good. But we have a long ways to go with our pinch and pulse process. So yeah, New Year's coming up. That's another thing. Yeah. So New Year, new me, hashtag. Just kidding. But I'm going to try to travel a little bit more and, you know, do some fun stuff as well. Maybe, you know, not vape related. Maybe go on a vacation to somewhere that's, you know, not vape related whatsoever. I mean, not that conventions are so much vacations for me these days, because most of the time I'm on the trip with my juice company, Blaz, so I'm kind of working the whole time. But I do get to have fun after hours and hang out with my friends and everything, so that is definitely something good. But, you know, I've always wanted to just travel the world on my own and just to see what there is to see. These are looking awful good, I must say. They're almost there. They're very, very springy. So they just kind of bounce back the second I try to pinch them, but they're already in a pretty decent position there. And my ohm reader is overheating, so it's time to move it to the mod. All right, so just a few more little kinks to work out, and I think we'll be good to go. One thing I'm definitely going to do is give these bad boys a rinse. They definitely need a bath because I was really wrenching on them pretty darn hard with the bit and going back and forth with the cutters, and there's probably a million little specks of wire in the juice well here. So for safety's sake, I'm just going to give them a quick rinse with some soap and warm water, and then we'll be ready to go. I think we're ready to wick this thing. Looks pretty good to me. So let's give it a quick bath, and then we'll wick it. So the final resistance came out to 0.1 on the money. I was hoping for a little bit higher, but then again, hey, what the hell. No special wicking techniques with this one whatsoever, just kind of do your normal thing. And right now I've got it set to 150 watts. I'm not sure if it's going to be vapeable at 150, but we're just going to try it out for this shot here. So let's go ahead and give it a whack. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a pretty angry coil. Let's just add a little bit more juice just to be sure. I really don't want to roast my cotton first shot here. But no hot spots yet, so that's good. Hey, all right, one more time, we'll go back to the main screen here. Well, there you go. All right, let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Woo! Well, what I thought was going to be a flavor build turned out to be one hell of a big cloud chucking build. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about the coils that we just put in this Elite V2 here. So it came out to 0.1 on the money. I'm rocking it at 150 watts with about 3/4 of the airflow open on the Elite V2. So let's get right into our categories, starting off with the heat. And yeah, this one is a hot one. I'm using it at a very high wattage, but if I were to be using it at a lower wattage, I just don't think I would get the same sensation. So, I mean, there's a ton of airflow on the Elite V2, and you still get a very full lung, even with a very short draw at 150 watts, and that's kind of what I'm going for with this one here. A lot of flavor and a lot of cloud without a huge, long, drawn-out puff. So my second category is the ramp up and ramp down time, and the ramp up time is about half a second. Once this thing gets going, there's no stopping it whatsoever, though. You get a full lung in a matter of 2 to 3 seconds. So with that, let's go ahead and take a rip off this thing. We'll check out the ramp down time. So I feel like the ramp down time heavily depends on how long you hit this thing for. So if I hit it for about 3 seconds, then I get about a 4-second ramp down time. If I hit it for 5 seconds, then I get about a 6-second ramp down time. And with that, it still stays about the average mark, I would say, for how hot this build is at 150 watts. It's keeping up really nicely with the wicking, and I'm not getting any sort of dry hit whatsoever. For my third category, which is the difficulty of this build, this one is on the easier side, and I would recommend it to pretty much any builder of any experience level. And with that, it's only a matter of twisting up a couple of wires and then reverse twisting them to get that chain effect, and then paralleling it with a simple Clapton. As far as the chain effect goes, I could have used a little bit more twisting. It could have been a little bit tighter, and that would have made a bit more of a dramatic effect as far as the chain link sort of look. But otherwise, for a first try, I think it was not too bad. And for my fourth and final category, which is the flavor on this build, today I'm vaping some of my own brand, which is Blaz, and this is the mango flavor that we have, and I gotta say, it's really hitting a spot. You know, for such a cloudy build, you really get excellent flavor, and I kind of attribute that to the different types of twisted wire in there. You have a ton of nooks and crannies for the flavor to get in and just kind of really make it happen. This one is a fairly simplistic flavor. It's blue raspberry and mango, but I get the full richness of every little note of flavor in there. I get the blue raspberry tartness, and I get that really sweet, almost candy-like mango flavor as well. So this one is definitely killing it in the flavor department and the cloud department. So that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Big shout out to you guys in the notification squad for getting here early. If you have a suggestion for a future episode of Fresh Build Friday or anything else you guys want to discuss about the Hell Coil, just leave it on down there in the comments. The Facebook group is live, guys. Make sure you go and join. The link is right down there in the description below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.